Hi, Algebra 1 students. Today we're going to talk a little bit about number systems, so check that off and go ahead and go to that page. So there are two number systems that we care a lot about. We care about the integers, which we can call Z. It's like a bold Z. We also have the real numbers, which is like a bold R. Okay, so examples of integers. Well, integers are all of those numbers that are whole, um, like 1, 2, 3, 12, 100, any number that's whole. But it also includes 0, and it includes those negative numbers. So -1, -4, -6, -793, anything that's not a decimal or a fraction. So negative and positive. Real numbers include everything. So real numbers are integers like 1, 2, and 3, but there's more than that. There's also like 1.5, there's like 7 halves, or 111 out of 767. What else is there? There's pi, which is the 3.14159, blah, 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 blah. That goes on and on forever. Um, what else? Square root of 2. Anything that, any number you could possibly think of as of right now. There are some numbers that are not real numbers, but we're not going to learn about those until Algebra 2. So real numbers, think of as any decimals, fractions, basically any number that you know so far, and integers are our whole numbers. So in number 1, when we say which number set best describes the number, we're talking about like the smallest. So if it is whole numbers like 0, we're going to call those integers. The integers best describe 0. And number 2, the real numbers best describes 0.6 because that's not an integer. Now there's a lot more number systems that we're not going to talk about that could probably qualify a little bit better, but for us we're just going to keep it simple and stick with integers and real numbers. 2/3 is actually a real number, right? Because that would be a decimal. 18/6 is a real number. However, if we do 18 divided by 6, we get 3. So let's say it's also an integer. So an integer is going to be our best description. So something that you need to remember is that integers, real numbers, have all the integers in them. So the integers is a smaller set of the real numbers. Again, I'm getting a little complicated here because this could get really complicated, but let's keep it simple. So if we wanted to measure the height of the Franklin Heights Gymnasium, which number system should we use? So if we think about measurements, we could measure in inches, which are whole inches, or meters, or centimeters, all of those things. We typically measure using decimals too, because we could say the height of the Franklin Heights Gymnasium is 76.3 feet. So typically when we measure some stuff, we want to be as exact as possible. So in this case, we're going to say we want our answer to be a real number because we want those decimals and we want those fractions. If we go to the grocery store to buy eggs, we should think about our number system. Have you ever gone to the grocery store and bought a half of an egg? Well, I haven't. I don't think they would let you. So that's not a possibility. Or any sort of fraction or decimal part of an egg. We only care about whole eggs. Okay? So since they're whole numbers, we're talking about integers in this case. Real numbers would be correct, however, we want to be as specific as possible. The integers is the best number system that we could use for this problem.